Welcome back to another episode of Intoxicados Podcast, your Tia's favorite podcast.
Sir.
I am your co-host, Diego Vinaboa, and alongside me, I have a great special guest. But before we get to the guest, I got the one and only Don Brandon.
What up, everybody? I hope everyone's having an amazing Monday. Guys, do not forget to thank the man above. Not just for today, but for the whole week that we just got. We got a brand new week full of new opportunities, guys. Go ahead and crush it. With that being said, I have the one and only Felipito 96.
How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's having an amazing day. I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little nervous. I'm a little starstruck. We have the honor, the pleasure of introducing Oliver Cooper.
Yeah, that's good, Oliver.
Yo.
Some of y'all might know him as Costa, by the way.
Break it down, yo.
We got, bro,
Legend.
a legend. Like Felipe said, Oliver Cooper, aka Costa from Project X. But
sir.
today we're not gonna only just talk about Project X, bro. We have a shit ton of questions for you.
Sorry, you can talk about Project X the whole time. if
The
that's
whole
what you want.
time.
No,
That's
we're
what
gonna
you
talk
want.
about Oliver
Bro, we want to know,
Cooper.
about
right.
you, Oliver.
Yeah.
How you doing, bro? How you been these days, bro?
I'm good, man.
Yeah.
Everything's good. Just, chilling.
Just chilling.
Just
Hell
chilling.
yeah, bro.
Yeah.
I wanted to right away before we go back to like the whole Project X thing.
Yeah.
I saw that you have a movie. I think is it out yet or is it about to come out? Bert.
Yeah, Bert. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a movie that I wrote with a friend of mine, Joe Burke, who's a writer-director. We've known each other forever. And it's about a friend of mine who's a 70-year-old, like, singer-songwriter. He's got Parkinson's. The movie's not really about that, but he's this really interesting guy. I've known him forever, actually a Valley guy. And he just had this spirit about him, is like kind of never give up, still believes he's going to be a rock star, even though he's 70. And he's actually moved now, but he used to live for like 10 years with his roommate, who was also the 70-year-old guy. And they were super interesting. So I basically wrote a movie around their relationship and around this guy, Bert. And I play his fictional son in the movie. And we're playing it all over the country, doing film festivals. And it's coming out later, probably around March. We'll release it digitally. But it's playing, if you go on BertTheMovie.com, you can see a bunch of screenings that we're doing maybe in your city, or there's some in LA doing the Lemley. I don't know if you know the Lemley theaters. And so yeah, it's cool. It's a cool movie.
And you said it comes out in March.
Comes out in March. It's
yeah.
funny, but it's also heartfelt, and it's cool. Yeah.
How's this project been for you, bro? The whole process of this whole thing.
That Bert?
Yeah.
It was cool. I mean, honestly, writing it with my friend and we made it for like very little. It was a shoestring budget, and getting to work, mostly non-actors are in the movie.
Sure.
It was really cool. It was an amazing kind of experiment. I wasn't sure going into it, like, is this gonna work? And it's been playing amazing for people different ages, and
Yeah.
it's been really rewarding, honestly.
Is there a reason for the behind the non-actors like?
Well, Bert
concept?
is a real guy.
Okay.
So like he's not an actor. He's just a guy that I've known for a really long time. And just like, it's just, you meet people, you're just like, this guy's so interesting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're just like, what the where did you come from? Just the way he approaches life, and the way, just such a unique spirit. And so I just wanted to make a movie about him, and he happened to live with this guy who was also just as interesting. And so I was like, fuck, this movie's like, everything's there. And I just kind of basically wrote in this fictional element where I'm his son, and it really just kind of worked. But yeah.
Was your character like that? Did you have that comedic still vibe to it that you're known for?
I would say, I've done, obviously I started off doing Project X. There's, it's funny. I love playing that kind of role. Like I would say, like kind of an asshole, kind of, know it all, whatever. And especially at that age, it was so fun to do that. And then, but I would say that wasn't my personality always in my life. Like there's a part of me that's that guy for sure. But then there's, I have another side of me as well. And I've explored that in other shows that I've done, like Californication or Red Oaks on Amazon, and in other movies. And I was just, so it's like, I wouldn't say this guy's as, the same kind of funny as I would have been in Project X. He's more of a, I'm also 35 years old, so it's just a different,
Right, it's a different time, right? Of course, yeah.
I'm kind of playing the lead of it. So as the lead of not to say I'm a big character in Project X, but as the lead, you kind of got to carry some of the emotional weight of the movie and stuff like that. But yeah,
I know. Project X has got to be the topic we got to bring up, bro.
We
got to bring up.
By the way, I love that movie, and as time has gone by, I think when it first came out, it was like, obviously it was a different time, so it wasn't like a lot of the podcasts and things like that. But I think I was like a little bit like almost, I don't want to say embarrassed, but like you're so close to it, and it's like it's a weird thing to talk about, or I didn't know how to talk about it. Now I'm like, I love that movie. I'm so glad I got to make that movie. And I'll talk about it. Like anyone wants to talk about it. It's like, it's amazing that you're talking about a movie you made, 12, 13, whatever it was years ago. So
were you expecting the movie to be as big as it was?
that's a good question. So yes and no. I mean, here's the thing. I got that movie when I was 19 or 20 years old.
Sure.
I booked that movie. That age, I had this kind of like insane confidence, which I think comes across in the movie.
Right.
But it was all kind of that young confidence that you have. You're like, oh, I'm gonna be in the NBA. I don't care. Whatever. It's like, whatever that confidence is. You don't know anything, so you haven't been burned by life yet. And so I had a little bit of that, and knowing Todd Phillips was producing the movie, and I was like, Hangover. Listen, when the Hangover came out, I was in high school. Yeah, I think I was in high school, and like Superbad and all those movies. I was like, those are the best, And I remember going with my friends and being like, this is the greatest movie I've ever seen, and all that shit. And so, I see this high school. Todd Phillips is doing a high school party movie. Like, how is that not going to be like the biggest movie? But now looking back on it, you're like, how crazy that it has that kind of like staying power. But I think that's also a testament to the director Nima Norizada, who had done this house party, this Adidas house party commercial. And Nima's still like one of my very good friends, and love that guy to death. And he created that vibe that I think is the reason that movie still like holds. And it's so you feel like you're at that party.
Yeah, it's the fact that it's so relatable still. Like you said, 13 years later,
he's such even like we've worked on other stuff and working on something now, and he has such a an eye for detail when it comes to like an authenticity, when it comes to like youth and party and that culture. And like, so even when we were making that movie, like things that maybe were like, other people, even myself at the time, were like, who cares about this? But like, he cared about every extra. He cared about every detail feeling real. He hated acting. He hated like you didn't want to feel like you were acting. You wanted to feel like everything was real, even to the point of the way we shot it and stuff. And I think that's the reason that even all these years later that it still holds. And then also the fact that there isn't a lot of, there hasn't just been a lot of, edgy kind of comedies.
Times have changed too. Like, I feel like that
times have changed.
Certain jokes can't say anymore.
There's that. I think that's coming back though. But I also think it's just one of those things where people don't go to the movies like that. Like I just people aren't going to go see a R-rated comedy in the movie theater, so they're not making them as much anymore. And there have always been like, even back in the day, it's like maybe one R-rated comedy would come out every couple of years that was a banger.
Right. Yeah. Right.
So I think it's a little bit of that.
Do you trip out how much influence that movie had on everyone's, like, in the youth, bro, at the time, even till now? Because I feel like people always say, yo, we got to throw a party, but it has to be like a Project X party.
Yeah.
And like everyone knows what that is. You get me?
I'll tell you, I trip out more that it's happening now.
Yeah.
And that it's happening. Like I was just in Paris, and I was staying with I was hanging out with a friend of mine who lives there, and he's got a kid who's 18 or something. And the kid doesn't even speak English very well, like barely can communicate with him to that point. And he loves projects, and he's talking about how all of his friends throw Project X parties, and that trips me out. Like, like, you guys don't even speak English. And I think the movie has like, and I've been to a lot of places, all over the world. Like I was, I think I was telling you before we got on here, it was like Puerto Rico. I didn't. That's all good.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're all good.
That was my alarm again. I didn't wake up.
There you go.
We would have been hella late. Sorry about that.
He's ready to wake up now.
I would have just woken up
into the
now.
podcast.
By the way, guys, I don't know. I'm sorry to cut you off, Oliver. We're all hungover. I hope y'all know that we're all hungover, running on to our sleep. We're back to the amazing story.
But yeah, no. So I've been to all over, and it's amazing to me. A lot of these countries, they love Project X. All over Europe, and a lot of the Latin countries. Colombia, I've been to, and Puerto Rico, and it's like crazy. Those places go. I feel more famous there than I do here, which is nuts.
Do you? Because I read something. It says something. I want to see how accurate it is. And if you can give me a little more details, but. So you were here, you moved to LA because you wanted to pursue acting. Yeah. You're from, correct me if I'm wrong, is it Ohio? Ohio. Yep. So you moved out here, you wanted to pursue acting, and then the whole gig of the Project X came to you by a friend?
It's a crazy story. I mean, I'll try and I can. If you want to know the story, you want to hear.
I'm just because I'm genuinely curious. Like the fact that if this is like what I read is true, the fact that your first audition tape,
right?
This was your like you just kind of were like, you know what, let me try. And the fact if everything that I read is what happened or what it is or what it became is crazy because that movie is a legendary movie for that to be your first role.
It was crazy. It was beyond that. It was my first audition. And I was pursuing that. Like I came out to LA, I would say 9 months before I got Project X, which is nuts.
Wow.
That's crazy.
I was, I was like kind of psycho. I had this like, I had all these plans. I was like, I'm going to, I was doing acting class. I dropped out of college and I was doing acting class and I was doing stand-up comedy, which was my first thing that kind of got me into the entertainment industry. But I was doing it on all of this stuff on an amateur level, like just taking classes and around at open mics and little gigs here and there. But I had met this guy Sean Weiss who played Goldberg the goalie from the Mighty Ducks movies. Do you remember the Mighty Ducks movies?
Yeah.
That maybe a little bit more
the hockey one.
Yeah, that was maybe my generation. You guys might be maybe a little bit young for that. But how old are you guys?
I'm 25.
I think
27.
Yeah, so Mighty Ducks was like for me as a kid was a huge deal. Anyway, so this dude was famous from that movie. He was also in a movie called Heavyweights back in the day. With Ben Stiller, and I recognized him, and so we were doing stand up together, but he was kind of in a rough place in his life, going through some personal stuff, and so I had befriended him, and I had heard about this audition in this acting class, and it was crazy. This kid, I'll never forget this. Not kid, this guy was like 35 years old at the time in this class, and he was like, "Hey, did you guys hear Todd Phillips, the guy who did The Hangover, is doing a high school party movie and he's looking for fresh faces so you can send in a video of yourself telling a story." And I remember thinking like, nobody's going to get cast that way. That's crazy. I happened to walk across the street to the other side of the acting school. And this kid that I knew was going in on an audition. He had like one of those kind of crappy managers but he was actually he was one of the guys I knew who was actually going on some auditions. Not that they were huge or anything, but he had some auditions. He's like, I'm going in on this audition for this new Todd Phillips movie. I was like, oh, really? And he's like, yeah, would you help me run some lines? So I'm running lines with him. This is crazy now thinking about it. But I was like, hey, you mind if I make a copy of these? He's like, yeah, go for it. So I made a copy of them. Because I was like, I think I can do this part. I think I can get in an audition.
Were you like, at that point right then and there, were you like, the universe is telling me some shit? Or not? You didn't think about that? I didn't
think about it then, but obviously now I'm like, this story just gets crazy and crazy. I'll tell you how nuts this goes. So I tell him, like, I go to my buddy Sean, who I mentioned, and I'm like, he's the only person I know in the entertainment industry who has had, he's so out of it now at this point, but he was the only person I knew who had had any success. And so I'm like, can you give me an audition? And he's like, yeah, I can get you an audition. And so I was like, all right. So I even made a tape, which was, now it's a common thing. You make like an audition tape, but back then you didn't do that. And it went nowhere. He sent it to somebody. It didn't go anywhere. And Sean and I, for about 3 weeks, were like, I had in my head, I have to play this part. I was like, I don't know why. And it actually wasn't, I wasn't even actually up for, it wasn't at that point, it was actually the Thomas character.
Okay.
It's called something else. But I just felt like I have to be in this movie.
What was the line? Do you remember like the lines that you were like practicing that you were like?
I do remember one of the scenes was like the taking the scene.
Okay, yeah.
So I like tell Sean's like, we're gonna get you an audition, don't worry. And I'm like, every day I go to his house in the morning. I show up and he was living with his dad at the time. His dad wasn't doing too well, had some health issues. So I'd go over and like kind of help out around the house, and then we would be like on this mission to get me an audition for Project X. We snuck on the Warner Brothers lot at one point it kind of snuck. I had a friend who got me a pass who was working there in some job. And I don't even know what we were going to do. We were just walking around the lot. And I'm just like, I got to get
in Culver City.
Yeah, no, in Warner Brothers in Burbank. But,
Burbank.
Tripping. But that's Sony, I think. But I was just like, I got to get an audition for this movie. And I couldn't stop thinking about it. And this is the really embarrassing part. So I'm in acting class. And because Sean had told me, I'm going to get you an audition. They asked, one of the guys asked, like, hey, did you ever get an audition? I was like, yeah, I got one. But I hadn't had one yet. So I kind of got caught up in this lie where then like a week later went by and they're like, hey, how'd the audition go? I'm like, it went really good. And I was like,
you low-key manifested that shit though. You manifested it.
So I'm like, I now told them I have a callback for a thing that I don't even have a audition for.
But why, if you don't mind me asking, why did you tell them?
Well, I kind of got caught up in my own lie.
They're probably bad
Yeah,
I
I kind of got caught up in this thing because I told the guy because I didn't want to say because I had told them I'm getting an audition because Sean had told me, and so I didn't want to I was a kid, young, and I was just being I didn't want to tell them, Mom, she's working on it. I just whatever. It was a stupid lie, but I kind of got caught up in it, and I couldn't say no. And the craziest part was then eventually, I think it was the thing that really tipped it over was Sean reached out to Judd Apatow, who had nothing to do with the movie, but he obviously is one of the most connected guys in Hollywood. And he wrote him a letter. It was asking for a favor for a friend. And he's like, you're asking for your last favor for a friend. And for what Judd's office called the casting office, got me in on the audition, which is insane in itself. I don't even know why he would do that or, it's just a crazy thing. And so I go in on this audition and it's my first audition. I've never been on any type of audition ever.
Camera, nothing. On camera, nothing.
Nothing. No auditions. I was just young and doing stand up and stuff. Maybe I'd done a stand up audition or something for a slot at a show. But I go in there and I do this the Thomas character. I figured it wasn't even named Thomas. It was named something else. And but it was the Thomas. What would go on to be the Thomas character. And I go in there and so the scene was that scene taking pills. And I thought because it said it was in a bathroom. This is how stupid and young I was. I thought, obviously you go in here with your buddies and you're like, yo, here, take the drug. Obviously that makes sense. But in my head, I was like, oh, he's taking a shit. Why his friends waiting, trying to get drugs.
Don't wait. So you don't tell me you made that scene much.
So I pulled down my pants in the audition and I was telling everybody I'm going to do it. I was telling all the kids that I was in acting class with. And one of the guys who ended up being a really good friend of mine was like, he's like, don't do that. He's like, you can't do that. I was like, no, I'm doing that. That's how I was just like a mad man just going at this thing. So I go in there, I do that, and they were like, and the casting director was like, Oliver Cooper. He's like, where the have you been? Who are you? And he's like, I don't think you're right for this, but he's like, I think you could be right for this other character. He's like, go out in 15 minutes, take 15 minutes, look over these lines, and come back in. And that audition was probably the one that really changed my life, where I was just like, I did a great job in that moment or whatever for doing Costa.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Costa actually. That role was always named Costa. And I just did that. I kind of channeled that same energy, did that. And then 2 days later, I'm going in and doing a callback for it with the producers of the movie, not Todd Phillips, but all the producers and the director. And that one I actually bombed because I got nervous. That's when it hit me. I got nervous. I was like, I'm now got a callback, and it kind of all my confidence just evaporated. So I go and I get this. So the callback bombs, and I remember just being so devastated. And then I get a call and they tell me, hey, come back tomorrow, but be more prepared. So I went and I took an apple. I had an apple.
Get into character.
I took an apple, and I remember because I was still so green. I didn't know how to even memorizing lines was hard. So I was I took an Adderall. I just fucking really tried to drill these lines. I'm with my friend Sean, and it was crazy. He took an Adderall as well, and we're doing these lines, and he really went above and beyond for me for this thing. And then the next day he was going to come. He came to, also I forgot to mention this. He came to the auditions and would talk to all the other kids in the waiting room. And so we go to the callback. I go to the second callback now for me after I fucked up, and he has a seizure in the parking lot before we leave. I'm like, call 911. I have to get an ambulance come. The ambulance comes, and I think it was from maybe the apple or something, or some mix wrong with or something. And he was fine. He ended up being fine, but he's like he didn't even want to get in the ambulance. So anyways, I ended up dropping him off at home because he's like, I can't go. He's like, he gave me that sort of Jedi, you got this, kid. I've taken you as far as I can. And I went on to the audition, and that was that one I did well. And then they were stick around for Todd Phillips. He wants to be here. And I did that one right after that. And then I had 4 more, I did a bunch of chemistry reads, and I just within a matter of 2 weeks, that whole thing just, I booked that thing.
It happened. Did you?
It's kind of an insane.
Yeah, that's a crazy story.
Insane audition story. Yeah,
I might have seen this on. I think it was on TikTok. I don't know, but did you? That vest that you had in the movie, that was your vest from your audition.
So I'll tell you that vest story is actually pretty good too. So there is something about some of the sort of manifesting and things. I really do believe in that stuff. But so I had a vest that my mom had bought me for like a holiday or something. I never wore it. It was ugly. I was I'm never gonna wear this. And so when I was going in for the Thomas role, I was like, oh, I gotta be kind of like nerdy or uptight. So I was like, ooh, that vest could be good. So I throw on that vest and I go to the audition, but then I ended up playing the other part, but I had the vest on, and then it became like a good luck thing where I'm like, I gotta wear the vest. So I would go to this, there was a little dry cleaner down the street from my house, and I would go after every audition, and I don't even know why I did this. I barely wore it. You don't need to dry clean it, but I honestly, you could have washed that vest. I don't even know. I was crazy. I go to the place, and every day I would be like, I got to dry clean this again. I got another call back, and they were like in on it with me. They were like, rooting for me on this thing. But anyways, it cut to, I get this part. So surreal. I show up to Warner Brothers for the fitting, and there is 400 sweater vests at this thing, all sweater vests. They must have been like, this guy wears sweater vests. He's got to be in a sweater vest. And now it's funny enough, like the sweater vest really is like an iconic part of the movie.
Yeah, huge.
But it was definitely created off of my, that's the randomness of things,
But it wasn't like it wasn't the exact vest?
No. Okay, it wasn't the exact vest. It was just a sweater vest. I still have the one that I auditioned in, but no, it was like they just put me in a bunch of different sweater vests. I think I have a couple of sweater vests in the movie. I have the one I wear, obviously at the party, but then the next day I think there's a different one. But yeah, I don't think either of those would fit me anymore.
Funny enough, though, in that time, it was like 2011, 2012. Like, was sweater vest still like in style? I'm really starting to think about it.
I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't think they were that cool.
I don't think they were ever cool.
No, I don't think they're cool now. Are they cool now?
No. I don't think so.
No, but I'm asking because Costa in the movie, he's like, he knows what he's talking about. Yeah. Like, you want to get laid? You got to fucking my shit. And motherfucker put a sweater vest. I don't know if I can trust somebody in a sweater vest like that. But hey, man, if Costa tells you,
I don't know. I don't think they were ever that cool. It's just like the weird random thing, but that became sort of popular. But it's funny.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Oliver, I gotta ask, bro. What did your parents say when they saw the movie, dude?
See, that was crazy. Well, they saw it at the premiere. We did the premiere at the Chinese Theater.
Okay.
Famous Chinese Theater, which was amazing. And I took my grandpa, who was like, I love my grandpa. I was actually super close to my grandpa, and my grandma. But I took them all to this premiere, like black car and the whole thing, and all the after party and all that stuff. And my grandpa was like, when I went to LA, he was like not supportive, not really. He didn't think it was a good idea. He's like, what are you doing? You're wasting your life, kind of thing. And so for him, that was probably the coolest thing to see his reaction. But my parents, like, I grew up with a very, my parents let me that were very cool. Like, they, it wasn't like, we used to party at my house and they it wasn't like weird to hear that language coming out of my mouth and stuff. I remember my dad laughing a couple times during the movie. I'm not going to sit here and say that my parents watching the movie were like, oh my God, I love this movie, if my son wasn't in it. But, or my 80-year-old grandpa was probably not like, ooh, I love this. It's like, but, I think they were just excited to see me in it.
Well, you were 19, right? 19 from Ohio.
So I was 19 I think I was 19 or 20 when I booked the part. And then I remember turning 21. So I was 20 when we shot it.
But were your parents ever like, dude, what the fuck are you going to do in LA?
Yeah, they were. They definitely were. Well, my parents were like worried about me, but they were supportive. My brother was living out here. And I never forget. I'd moved out here I drove out here with my two buddies. Like they flew back home, but kind of did do the drive with me. I remember when they left, I was like, part of you was like, this is crazy. I'm like living with my aunt in Encino. I was like, I don't know what the I'm gonna do out here.
And at least pretty costly too.
It's costly, but I had a place to live, so I was living with somebody. But I was like, still like, that kind of like, it's easy to dream when you're in a car with your buddies and like, yeah, let's go tear this Hollywood a new asshole, But like once you get there, you're like, ooh, this big city, But my brother was living out here, but he was a lot older than me, so we weren't like, we were close, but not like close, And so I remember going out, and he had a real job, and he was always smarter than I was. He was like kind of like the smart kid in the family, and he was like, Oliver, what the fuck are you gonna do out here? Like he kind of was like saying that to me. I was like, I'm gonna do comedy and I'm gonna be an actor, and he's like, he probably thought it was insane, Then cut to like I do Project X, and the place he was working at was working at an agency he was an assistant at an agency, and I took him to like one of these new agents after projects came out. These agents wanted to sign me, and I took him to this like fancy drinks, smoking cigars with these like big Hollywood agents that were like kind of running the company that he was working at, which probably tripped him out because he's a lot older than me. He's like my piece of shit brother.
You proved him wrong though.
We're cool now. I mean, it was never like a thing like that, but yeah.
No, you're good. Don't worry about it.
Question. So you know how you talk about you drove out here with your buddies. How was it making buddies here? You know, because I'm assuming you made some new buddies, and then also, you know, Thomas and JB. Like, did you were you guys actually friends outside of cameras?
Yeah. So obviously, like making friends out here. Yeah, I mean, like I became friends with someone that I like that I knew back growing up. Like my friend Joe, who I made that movie Bert with. Like he was friends with my older brother, and like I knew him, but when you're 7 years older than someone, you're not close growing up. So I came close with him out here, and then obviously like you meet people like anyway, you know, you just, some of them are actors, some of them are not, and you know, you live out in a place long enough, you meet people. So there's that. But as far as JB and Thomas, I was very close with them, and I still am. Like, you know, I see JB probably a bit more, but I still see Thomas. I love both of them. And we were really close, like after the movie came out, or actually when we were making the movie, because we were all sort of in the same scenario. I mean, Thomas had done a little bit more stuff, and but at the same time, we were all kind of like, this is a crazy experience for us.
Yeah,
and so we bonded over that, and so yeah, we hung out all the time. I mean, like for at least the first few years after that movie came out.
So the movie, you're 20 years old. Movie drops. How long did it take for you guys to see the motion, the audience that you guys built? How long? Was it 1 week, 2 weeks? And then how did your life change shortly after that?
That's a good question. So, well, first off, we filmed the movie in 2010. And then we ended up doing, like a year later, we did reshoots that summer. Like which is common with these big movies. You do like additional photography to like, close some gaps, add some jokes or whatever. And so we did that. And then the movie comes out, and all this time, like I got these big agents, and I'm like waiting on like, oh, is this gonna be like a big thing or not? And I'm learning how to act and audition, like it's all new to me. And then the movie comes out, and I think it took like a couple weeks before I felt like, oh, it wasn't like overnight, like, oh my God, everybody in the world knows who I am. But I think it took the one that I really remember is being, I did a movie right after it came out. This movie called Runner Runner with Justin Timberlake, Ben Affleck. It's not the best movie, but it's fun. We made it in Puerto Rico, and I'm out in Puerto Rico, and that's when I realized, I was like, holy shit, this place loves this movie. I mean, I was telling you before, Anthony Mackie was in this movie pre-Marvel, and we were going out one night, like just to grab some drinks or something, and he was like, movie is this, dude? Because everybody was recognizing
this. Was like, so you were in Puerto Rico filming this other movie with Ben Affleck, Justin Timberlake.
It was like in April or May of after Project X came out, so like a couple months later.
So a couple months. It took a couple months for now you're starting to see the people coming up to you.
That was crazy. That was a whole other level of like, obviously, like I'm sure like the opening weekend. We did a college tour when the movie like first, before it was coming out. We were to build up buzz, like a press tour. So we went to a bunch of colleges, and we'd play, like you'd walk in, no one know who you are, you play the movie. All of a sudden afterwards, people are like, oh, well, can I get a picture, Costa, or whatever? And it's like, that's crazy. You see it happen.
Right.
But to really feel it was like when I was I remember being in Puerto Rico and being like, like these girls would be into me, and like, I was like,
that's when you noticed it.
I was like, this girl would never talk to me if I wasn't in that movie. But I'm not gonna say no at 21 years old. I'm not gonna say, whatever.
They're like, this. Do you have your sweater vest?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Dude. So, and I want to go back to the question of, in that moment when you're, I don't know how it works. I genuinely don't. I'm actually curious. So let's say you film a movie, you're done.
Yeah.
Are you when do you actually see the final footage? Is it the same as screening as everybody else, or you get like before, like you get to see it by yourself?
So they do a lot of test screenings. So they do a bunch of test screenings. I had seen, so I'll take it back a little bit. I'd seen like, I've been in the editing room and seen like a little bit here and there. And like, I think I did some like ADR, like voiceover stuff to like, which is common on movies. So I'd seen a little bit there, but I saw the whole movie. We all three of us did at a test screening. I forget, maybe it was like Glendale or something, but it was like I think they, it was like the last test screening they were doing, and they were like, all right, fine, let's invite the boys. So we go there and we watch this movie, and it was like, yeah, it was a bit crazy for me because I was like seeing the whole thing, and I remember being like, part of me was like, this is amazing. The other part of me was like, that's what I did. I did that. I was like, God, I'm crazy in this movie. I'm like screaming the whole time, like. Yeah, so it was a bit of like a kind of mind.
And when you're sitting there, and I ask you this because we're vloggers, right? So we obviously not the same as a movie, but in a way we do have to sit down we have to sit down and see what our editor cooked up every week, and we have to see, okay, like, is this good? Is this gonna be a banger? Sometimes we cringe seeing our own shit, Right. How was it for you when you saw it? You with your boys, with Thomas and JB?
Yeah.
Sorry if I'm mistaken it. Did you at that moment when you saw this, you were like, "Oh boys, this is gonna change like our lives," or you were just like,
"Nah, I don't know if I felt that way." I think at that point, like, it had been a year and a half since I made the movie, and I was like, I felt like I was in Hollywood. I had an agent. I was going on auditions, and I was like kind of starting to feel like, oh, this isn't as easy as I thought it was, you know. And so I was maybe a bit more like, well, let's just see what happens here, and like, and like, I remember like the first time, actually, I'll tell you, I remember once, like, this was like early Twitter, because I don't remember when Twitter kind of came out, but I didn't have a Twitter. That's how early it was. And I remember but I remember that you could go on Twitter and you could see reactions. So I knew they were doing a test screening, and JB was like, he was always been like kind of a guy who was like, knew all the internets, was like internet, savant. And so he sent me like a tweet of like, from the test screening, like, this movie's going to be huge. Like, in Costa is the breakout star. So I was like, but like, yeah, there was a little bit of that, but it was that. And then then when the movie came out, I mean, there was like, the New York Times gave us an amazing review, and like, I don't remember what they said about me, but they gave an amazing review. And there was other places that gave great reviews, but then there was some places that gave like, they killed us. Like, the LA Times are like, ripped me apart. And so there was that. So then you kind of like you're like,
100%.
Don't know. You just, I kind of think at that age, I didn't have like enough of a experience to be able to take the good and the bad.
Yeah.
I have a question also. Yeah. I've been hearing about. I'm on TikTok a lot,
Yeah.
And I see a lot of rumors, And I'm honest, you can never skip a Project X edit. You always got to
have you seen the Project X edits?
What's that?
Oh, so basically they'll get clips of like the movie, and they'll put like a song from maybe
they get millions of millions of views, bro.
And people will be like, damn, I wish I got to experience this.
They take a video from the
I'm gonna show you.
So they take clips.
Like, dude, my For You page, if I showed you my are you on TikTok?
I have one, but I don't use it. I have like a secret one.
Dude, I like him. Every time they come on my For You page.
My girl is like obsessed with it.
Wait, with that being said, that's why I'm going to this question. There's been a lot of rumors under these edits. Like, can Project X2 be in the works? Could it come out? Is that something you would consider?
All right, so I could say this because I've been saying this a little bit more. So yeah, like, we are working on something. I can't give the details of what it is because it's I don't want to. I just can't talk too detailed about it. But we do have something in development. We're trying to get it going. So like, honestly, like, the best thing people can do is just keep talking about the movie because it'll help us when it comes down to it. But we're working on developing a script, and hopefully, excuse me, drinking Coke here. But yeah, hopefully we can get this thing going, and I really want to make some. I mean, I don't know if people saw the video that, like, you see that I made a YouTube video actually called Project X Dose.
I think I saw something like that.
So like, and that kind of inspired us to go. We're not making that, but it inspired us to go out there and really try something. And it's getting some movement, but we're developing a script, but it's you never know.
Dude,
a lot of people that there's a lot of decision makers that I don't, it's not up to me, basically.
I want to say I'll call it right here. I guarantee you that shit's going to be a hit because I kid you not, I'm going to show you some of these videos, bro.
Yeah.
These are getting like 5, 10, 15 million views today, bro. And that movie's 2012. It's 13 years ago, right?
Crazy.
I'm gonna show you like,
He's like the young generation.
This is the young generation.
I know they love it. I know,
and they're making edits, bro. Look at these
so
edits.
I'm like a dope one.
I'm just going off. This one has 7 million right now.
Okay.
30 people? Yeah, I have to make sure.
1.3 million likes.
30 people won't change anything for us.
And then they just turn it into edits, bro.
So maybe these pretty people just edit their own like clips together.
And they're just like, that's one of them. And people are commenting, you know, like wow. It's like, let's
listen. I would love to do another one, and I hope we do. And I think we have some really fun ideas of what to do with it and how to like make it not only fun for people that like the original, but like also for the new young people. So I mean, I'm hoping, but I'm trying. I'm really doing everything.
We got to make it happen.
We got to make it happen. So it really is more. The fans are really the key to it because they are out there and they are drumming up interest. And I've been getting it for years on Instagram. And I'm terrible with my social media, as probably fans of the movie know. But if you're out there and I get messages all the time like Project X 2, where is it? And I want to do something. I'm actually more excited about, like, I kind of tried to get away from the movie for a long time, but like now I'm like, I would love to come back with my perspective now and do, you know, something with that character.
How does it make you feel, like, going back and seeing the edits and just seeing that you guys are still so relevant after 10 plus years, dude?
Oh, it's crazy. I was saying that, I mean, early on when we were talking, it was like, just, you know, like I said, going to like seeing different countries and seeing young people that come up to me that are like 16 years old, 18 years old, and they're talking about Project X. I'm like, that's fucking crazy to me because you know, most movies just don't have nothing has like lasting power anymore. You know, especially in today's, you know, media, you know, everything's so fast. So I think it's amazing. It's so cool, and I'm humbled for that.
It's not a question. I just want to generally say this before the podcast, and I know we're kind of on time crunch, but I just want to say thank you so much for all the amazing memories, bro. I still remember calling my boys. This back in the day, like 2014. I'm on Kick. I don't remember the app Kick.
No.
Well, you make a group chat. But like, hey, pull over to my house. My mom and dad aren't home. We gonna watch Project X. And it never went far. Like it's like we were drinking. They were like 14-year-old kids. Just I recorded on MTV, so let's watch it. And we'd watch the movie and be like, man, when we're 17, we're gonna throw a party like this. It never happened,
bro. Everybody at one point, when that movie came out, everybody at one point tried to recreate Project X as a party.
Were you guys? Did you guys see it in theaters?
No, I saw it on
MTV.
MTV, I think.
MTV would always play this.
Wow. That's cool. So it was a whole experience. You know, actually, funny enough, we did. If I would have known you guys then, I would have invited you. But we did a cast and the director and everybody. We did one at the Egyptian. You know, the Egyptian theater in LA.
Yeah. Was this a couple months back?
This is like last year around this time, and we did a full on, like, we sold it out. Did a screening of Project X with a Q&A afterwards. And it was awesome. Like, that's the first time I'd seen the movie in like 10 years. And seeing it on a big screen like that, it was like the best way possible. And it reminded me of like seeing it in theater is amazing. It was amazing. It was a fun party, even when you go see it. And I think the reason I asked if you guys were seeing it in theaters was a lot of kids were going to the movie, like 14, 13 years old. I think they were buying tickets to whatever. It was some animated movie.
And then they would
Lorax. It was Lorax. They were buying tickets to go see Lorax. And then sneaking into Project X, and which was crazy. Kind of sucked because we could have used the box office, but but yeah,
it is what it is.
No, I just got people. It's the most pirated movie of that year too, which was crazy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was the most pirated movie of 2012. It's funny that the movie has. It's always been interesting to me. The movie has more of a I feel like in Hollywood, it never really had the impact as it did outside of Hollywood with people in different countries and, like, you know, I mean, it's just crazy.
It's a hood classic, I would say. Like, you know, like Friday, Project X definitely right.
Friday was my. That was like my
Project X definitely there. I'm gonna leave it at that.
I think it's gonna.
That's my hot take on it.
My top 3 like comedy. I'm gonna put Project X as one, not just because I'm being biased because you're here, but Project X. I've probably watched that movie like 7 or 8 times, bro. Project X, super bad,
100%.
And that third one, I don't know who I would put on my third one, but for sure those are top 2. But super bad.
Look, I mean, for me, super bad. Hangover was banger when I was in high school, and you know, I even love, like, you know, American Pie.
Yeah, American Pie.
That was yeah.
All the American Pies.
Yeah,
Oliver, so we know we don't have too much time, and we talked about Project X, and we also talked about the movie that you're working on. But what else you have planned for yourself, bro?
Just trying to survive.
Okay.
But I'm doing a movie. I just did a movie we shot in Ireland called Soulmate, which is a Megan, you know Megan, the movie Megan?
Yeah.
The doll.
Yeah, the doll, crazy doll. So we did a movie. It's a spin-off of Megan. It's called Soulmate with an 8, like Megan's with a 3.
Okay.
And so that's coming out. I think it's supposed to be coming out in January, but I'm not sure if they're pushing it a couple months. I'm not sure. I think it's January, but anyways, yeah. So I did that, and that was really fun. And then but other than that, just a bunch of smaller independent stuff. And things like
before
that.
Before we wrap up, I do want to ask you, because we have had our friends are, they've been in the movies and the shows and Hollywood life, and they've told us that Hollywood's changing, and I kind of want to have your take on as far as what has changed from 2012 to 2025 in Hollywood as far as movies. Is there less movies coming out? Is there a problem going on that you're aware of? That
that's a good question.
Budgets, yeah.
Well, I think, listen, obviously Netflix and all the streamers changed the way people watch stuff. And I think, after COVID, everybody stopped going to the movies,
Yeah.
I don't even know. When was the last time you guys went to the movies?
No, I actually do. Recently,
I like going to
Black
movies.
phones.
Yeah, like
That's awesome. I'm glad to hear people are going to the movies. I love going to the movies. I still go to the movies all the time. But for me, it's kind of in my circle, it's kind of a rarity. Not a lot of people I know are going regularly. And so I think after COVID, people just started watching on it's I can just watch it on Netflix. So it's when's it coming out? Just wait a couple months. It just really has to be an event cinema to come out on in the theater and to do well. And it's expensive. You make a movie for all this money, and then you got to market it, which is just as expensive. So I think that's it. It's just the business model probably, and this isn't really something I pay attention to too much, just because it doesn't, maybe it affects my career, but it's not. It's not something I can control, so it's not something I think about too often. But there is, obviously things have changed with how people watch movies and stuff. But I still think, I think obviously there was that wave of people were really sensitive about what you could say and what you can do and what you can't do. But I do think that's washed away. I think people it's not to say that I'm not a fan for just being inappropriate for the sake of it, but I think that people want to see funny up shit.
Yeah.
I like watching
dark humor, bro.
People are going on TikTok and watching horrible, crazy shit. So I think that's coming back, and I think ultimately, if the audience wants it, it'll come back. And I do believe that comedies, even though there hasn't been that many comedies in the theater of late, I do think that there is going to be another wave, and it'll just take one movie someone comes up with. Maybe Project X 2
takes the risk.
That really just takes the risk and nails it, and then it's gonna be a wave of, because Hollywood has always been just whatever's hot, and so I think it's just right now is a little bit of a cold spell, but I think things will come back, and I don't know. I've always felt optimistic. It's Hollywood as an actor, as a writer, as whatever you do. It's hard and it's not. It's there's never been easy, and people want to say it's so hard. It's always been hard.
Yeah.
When has it ever been easy to go to Hollywood and make movies?
Never. 100%.
Yeah.
So I just kind of think you just gotta, just keep going.
Yeah.
Oliver, top 3 pre-gaming songs. What are you bumping before you hit the club?
But I don't think he's in clubs like that no more, bro.
Back in the day. Old man.
Okay. from back in the day to now, top 3. So you give me 6 if that's cool. So from back in the day when you were going,
I gotta go Pursuit of Happiness.
Yeah.
I still, it's funny thing is, Kid Cudi at the after party for Project X chipped my tooth with popped a bottle. We were on stage, we're dancing to Pursuit of Happiness. His song. I think he was singing. I don't remember, but he took the bottle and put it down my throat and then chipped my. But no, he doesn't even know that. But anyway, there's excuse me again. I got that song. What else I got to put in there? Oh God, this is
you put him on the spot, bro.
Let's see.
The people need to know.
I gotta go. Well, I mean, I'll tell you a couple artists I like. I'll probably go Biggie.
Okay.
No Biggie. And if I'm going out to like a club kind of thing, and probably shouldn't say this, but Kanye.
Oh, okay. Hell yeah. Man, by the way, our audience are growing and they don't go fuck. Yeah. So we don't have soft. Yeah. That's what I think. That's the problem with Hollywood, man. I think they got soft, man. I think people got soft.
Well, listen, I don't agree with everything Kanye does, but his music's great. So
no, I'm talking about like because we're talking about like the movies and all that shit. I think shit got soft. I think people got soft, in my opinion. I think we got to bring back that dark humor back, man. Hopefully, Project X2 is the one.
And God willing, if Project X2 comes out, if you ever need like just extras, you let us know, man.
If it comes out and we're shooting out, you guys can definitely do something.
Oh, let's go.
Hey, what do we say? Close my don't get fat.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
We'll get you in there as extras for sure.
Let's go. Yo, we got to make it happen.
I call dibs jumping off the bouncy house if it happens.
Yo, comment down below, guys. Somebody clip this up, that whole conversation about, because if the demand is high for this movie and Hollywood sees it or whoever sees it, it could possibly happen, right?
If
the demand is high, people are buzzing about it.
Buzzing about it and want this movie. Yeah, that would be a big help.
Comment, spam this shit up you guys want to see Project X2 in the works coming out soon, and we gonna make this shit happen right here. Confirmed by the one and only the greatest, Oliver Cooper, aka Costa. Let's go.
Hell yeah.
Well, I think are we good on time? Are you 422?
Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Actually, I did want to ask you. You ran into my boy in LA.
I did, yeah.
Let me hear this story.
I was going for a run, which is a rare thing for me.
I saw you were running.
Yeah,
so.
I was going for a run. I was actually by my aunt. I think we were in Encino, and this dude. I think I just like this guy just yelling at me out of his car. And,
what did you say?
I don't even know. I didn't know what he was doing. I was like, who is? I mean, I didn't. Obviously, someone yelling at you out of your car. No offense. He's just like, I don't know what's going on. But I was like, okay. Then he was like, yo, can I get a picture? And I'm a big fan of Project X or something. And but you were cool. And you did mention you had a podcast, but honestly, like in my head, I'm like, I don't know. Like everyone's got a podcast.
They should make podcast equipment more expensive.
Yeah.
So let me hear your point of view. What were you doing?
Okay, I'm gonna be honest, bro. So there's a gym right there, right around that area, and I was coming out of the gym, but even though I work out, I'm on the phone with one of our business partners, and I don't know why we started talking about like, yo, what's your favorite movie? I'm not even trying to make this up. I'm genuinely being so serious. And then he like, I like this movie. I'm like, man, I like Project X. He's a little older too. He's like, oh yeah, I remember watching when it came out, and I was like, bro, I love Project. I'm being so serious. This is genuinely what we're talking about. I look over, and funny enough, I had just looked up a couple months behind. I just looked up like how you guys look now, the cast before and now. I don't look old, but I mean, stuff happens. Life goes on. People
you drink a few too many Cokes.
Like if you put a photo of me at 14, and now you're not gonna recognize me either. But long story short, I'm like, no way. I'm with Ollie. I'm like, no fuck way. I'm like, bye. And I see him running by, and gang, I look like a weirdo. I'm like, yo. Costa!
You say Costa?
I think I look at this. I might have said Costa.
And you still look when people say Costa.
Yeah, but I don't mind. I mean, listen, it's like I don't mind that at all. Like it's cool. I mean, that's like I don't unless someone's like actually like disrespectful to me.
Of course,
I'm not. I find it to be. I'm like, oh, that's really nice that someone still watches that movie or thinks it's cool. It's like. It's more of a trip even when I'm with like my girl and her family or something. I'm remember being out to dinner with her mom, or lunch with her and her mom, and someone recognized me. It's like crazy for them, Yeah. It's like holy shit, like that's so crazy.
Yeah.
So no, it's nice that someone.
And believe it or not, I promise you, I never try to fanboy. Never. We try to keep our composure. I couldn't, bro. I'm telling you, I genuinely said it earlier. Like the amount of like the movie has gotten me through a lot because it's one of my favorite movies. It's like it's funny as I always relate to it. I'm having a bad day. I'll put it on. It's gonna be a banger. That's awesome. I yell. I'm like, Costa, and I'm like, he's like, what up? And I'm like, can I get a photo? And I put low. I think I put him on the wrong.
Sweaty as.
And I couldn't believe it, bro. Yeah, it was dope.
So he calls me. He calls me right after. He's saying shit. He's like, yo, you not gonna believe who I fucking just ran into. I was like, who, bro? He's like, bro, Costa. I'm like, shut the. Let me see. He sends me the picture, He's like, yeah, bro, I told him, I was like, why didn't you tell him, like, we should do something. We should try to chop it up. And he's like, I did. And then I followed him on Instagram. I'm going to see if he follows me back. And then I think he even DM'd you. You DM'd him, right?
Yeah.
He's like,
Yes.
And then a couple of days went by. And I was like, yo, did he ever hit you back? He's like, nah, he never replied. He never messaged, right?
Well, not like that. I was like, that happened. You put me busy.
Sometimes I like listen. I'll be honest. Like I get like a lot of DMs. Like I'm not good on social media. I just like this has never been a thing for me. Also, like I didn't even have that when I was young, and so like I just am bad at it, and I've never been good at it. And so when I see, sometimes I just don't check. It's not like personal. Yeah. And sometimes I do see it. Like every once in a while, I'm like, oh, fuck. That would have been cool. Why didn't I hit that guy?
Hey, bro, I promise you, I didn't take no offense to it. But it makes it sound like a bitch.
No. The reason I'm saying that though, the reason I'm saying it is because I remember I followed and I messaged you, but never responded. Right? Like, cool, I get it.
That was a while. You messaged me before,
dude. I messaged you before.
Oh,
but listen, check it out. I started getting Project X, like all these edits on my For You page, and I was like, dude, I'm gonna reach out again. I'm gonna reach out again.
You guys make me sound like I'm an asshole.
No, but dude, it's not your fault. Like DMs, like nobody really checks them. To be honest, nobody.
Well, it doesn't go because the thing is, it doesn't.
Request.
It's a request.
I have to go into like, and sometimes I do it because I try to be better with like you go into the other section where it's like I forget what it's called, but. People reach out to me. I always want to be like, if people are reaching out and saying they're a fan and they write a nice message, I try to respond because it's like it's really nice that some obviously those are people that are real fans. But I'm not always good at it.
Yeah, so then I was like, hey man, one more time, man. I'm gonna see if he wants to come and do his pod or just chop it up. And I kid you not, this was like 3-4 weeks ago. I get off a plane. We just landed in New York.
Yeah.
And I'm vlogging for my channel, and I have the video. I'm gonna pop it up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, Felipe, you're not gonna believe who responded.
Diego goes, hold on.
Just because I want you to look at the time, 3:56 p.m. He responded. It's 4:16.
No way! What the fuck? Bro, y'all know who this fucking demon is right here?
And I'm freaking out, I'm like fanboying, and he's like, no way. And then it was you responding to me finally.
Cool,
so
yeah, and I'm trying. Like I did another. What actually made me kind of want to do it. You had good timing as well because like I don't do a lot of podcasts, and I did one recently, and it ended up being fun talking about it. And a lot of times it is like people want me to come out and talk about Project X, and now there's been enough time where I'm like, and I'm trying, and I want to make the sequel, so it's nice to come up and chop it up about it, and yeah, it's fun.
We're gonna make it happen.
I ended up having a good time, and I had a good time today with you guys.
Thank you.
Matter of fact, it's gonna happen.
Project X2 is on the way. Hopefully.
Last thing. And I'm gonna shoot my shot one more last time. You said you're not really good with social media, right?
Yeah.
You said like that's not really your strong suit.
Yeah.
That's like you have it because it's the 20th century, but you could care less. But is there any possibility you would come out like on a YouTube video?
Like on a YouTube video?
Yeah.
A vlog.
Like a vlog.
Like our vlog.
Oh, like just what I gotta do?
We don't know.
Whatever you want to do, man.
We go crazy.
I don't even know what a vlog is.
A vlog. So it's like kind of like how y'all shot the movie is kind of vlog type of a guy following you guys around with the camera.
You just get followed
That's
around.
literally.
So basically, maybe that's just Project X2. It's just a big vlog of me.
Huge vlog.
Project X2.
Yeah.
On your vlog. Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
How about that?
Yeah.
Depends what it is. I don't know. Like what depends what you guys.
He also has a girlfriend. He has 35 years old.
I have a fiance.
Oh, fiance.
Congrats.
Thank you.
So, he can't be maniacs either. Like, he can't go crazy. Maniacs means crazy. He can't be like all crazy.
What is it?
Maniacs.
Maniacs, yo.
Let's go.
About to be maniacs, yo. Project X2 maniacs, yo.
Yo.
I think that's
Oliver, thank you so much for coming out, man. Appreciate you, bro.
Thank you, brother.
We appreciate you, bro.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you guys.
And do you want to tell the supporters out there too, whether it be a motivational quote or what's coming up for you?
I kind of said that in the thing, but I will say thank you guys so much for really being fans of Project X for all these years, and it's crazy to me and it's so cool to me that a lot of these younger people out there that were 5 years old when this movie came out are loving this movie. That's it means a lot. So thank you.
Let's go.
Of course.
Thank you guys so much, ladies and gentlemen.
Oliver Cooper. All right, guys. We'll see you guys next week. We hope you enjoyed this podcast. Drop a like, drop a comment, and spam in the comments. Project X2. Drop it, yo.
Don't forget to hype the video as well, please. Guys, with that being said, have an amazing Monday. Have an amazing week. We love you guys so much.
Peace.